Here we go. Hi, VT members. Terilee here, and I am so excited to have none other than the cold calling queen, Ashleigh, is with me today, and we want to talk about inviting visitors to chapters. We're going to be talking about how sometimes the sales process and objections may come into play here. But Ashleigh, introduce yourself to your fellow members. I'm so excited just for our informal chat today.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for having me. And yes, hello, everyone. I am known as that crazy and rare breed that loves doing the grunt work that most of you avoid or don't have time for, and that is cold calling. So hence why I know, don't call me, a lot of people just ask that question. Well, how do you love this kind of grunt work? How do you like doing this sales activity? And, I think it's just that thrill of the chase and turning a no into a yes and all of that. But I guess as a bit of an introduction, yes, I'm known as the cold calling queen down under in Australia. I run my own lead generation or cold calling agency, the Promo Donna, and I have done so for 10 years. We create highly qualified sales leads and appointments for companies all around Australia. And I also coach people. So I'm very passionate about training people in how to cold call, prospect, and even sell more effectively. So yes, very excited to be here.
I'm just so delighted to have you here. For those who may be wondering, Ashleigh is a member of our Business Without Borders chapter. They meet on Wednesdays at 12:30 Melbourne, Sydney time. That is, let me see, it's 10:30 a.m. for me here in Singapore. So if you're in North America and would love to meet a hot group of Aussies, you can still, if you're an evening person, you can hack with them. Like East Coast is 10:30 p.m. going into 7:30 p.m. EST, no, PST on the West Coast. So if you like Ashleigh and you like to see some of the people that you might have met at the global gathering, you too can visit Business Without Borders. So Ashleigh and I were chatting last week. We did a live, and we were talking about, I mentioned the upcoming Inviting Visitors contest, and we were chatting a little bit, and I thought, there might be some synergy here just to have a conversation. So Ashleigh, you've probably seen some of the things that I've put out to the members, including like just contest details about, really it's about inviting guests. And if your guest, you get a point. And if your guest comes back a second time, you get another point. If the guest comes back and joins within this 5-week period, you get 3 points. They all go into a hat, and we're going to draw out gift cards. We're going to draw out prizes. So somebody could win a bunch for all we know if they have more chances, right?
Yes. Exactly. Yes. What a fantastic competition.
I think it's going to be, and I think it's going to be fun. And there are people who are just great inviters anyway, Ashleigh. This is what they do. I titled this recording, Become a Connector, Be a Connector, develop your connector muscle, because truly the great networkers out there, Ashleigh, do you agree? Truly, they're ones who say, hey, I want to meet you to meet this person. I want you to meet my network. They're always making connections. And have you found that to be true? And how is your connecting muscle, Ashleigh? How do you feel about inviting?
I love this. And I couldn't agree more. I think that you and everyone watching knows that there's some people out there that just have this natural ability to draw heaps of people into a session. We have someone in our V team, and I'm sure he won't mind me mentioning him, Bobby.
Oh, please call him out. Yeah, Bobby.
Bobby, I am calling you out. He is fabulous, and he brings visitors every week. And, I was thinking, Terilee, as you were talking about, what is it that allows these people to just naturally draw in new visitors and invite them so easily? And it's something I actually talk about in my sales training sometime, which is there's some people who I like to call the accidental salespeople. Now, these are people, I know, I love this term, because these are people who, they don't really necessarily think of themselves as salespeople, but they do it really well. And the reason I think they do it really well is because their mindset is always just on, how can I help people? It's not about,
Yes.
oh, I need to do a blatant pitch and get them in the room.
Yeah.
I'm sure people like Bobby are just thinking, this person would be great for this person. I can connect them and help them. So I think that that's a tip up front for everyone.
Yep. Yep. No, I agree. And I love that. The accidental salesperson there. And I will say, I mentioned this yesterday in my Ask Me Anything session, but I have just always looked at it as when we are inviting people, that it's a gift you give that person to invite them to come and meet this fabulous group of people. And it's a gift you give to your chapter to invite this person to, like, it's just a gift all around. It's just a big gift. It's not like, and if maybe that's shifting your thinking, like, oh, I got to invite a guest, or, and instead it's, wow, I really like this person I met off of LinkedIn that I'm having a one-on-one with, right? And I really enjoying them. And I think there could be some synergy. So, hey, I'd like to invite you for a visit. And the thing about inviting people is, guests may come and guests may go, and some may stay and some won't, but that's okay, right?
Yes, exactly. And I think that we were chatting recently, Terilee, about the fact that a lot of visitors, they actually bring in a lot of business for the members. So as you're saying, it doesn't matter if they just come once or twice and then don't sign up. They could actually be really helping the other members in your chapter. So I think it's really important that, you focus on the fact that you are bringing benefit to the group, but also to the person that you're inviting. And I think this is a great point, actually, Terilee, that kind of leads me into, we spoke about kind of shifting that mindset. Yeah. And I think, because we are, let's face it, when we're talking about inviting visitors, it is a little bit like selling, in a sense, selling in the chapter. And I, again, think some of the best salespeople are able to flip their mindset to, again, how can I help people? And a lot of that's about making it what's in it for them. So when you're thinking of, and when you're thinking of inviting a visitor, it shouldn't be about the chapter as such. It should be, what are they going to get out of that day? I'm going to connect you with all these amazing people that could open up your network. Or I know that someone's been looking for assistance with IT. I'd love you to come along as my guest. Something of that nature is what's going to draw them in.
Oh, that's so good. And in the it's an online toolbox, I guess, vteaminvitetools.com, vteaminvitetools.com. I just released this, and some of you may have gone in and seen it. Some of you haven't. I know that there's already people using that because they want to win. But anyway, Ashleigh, I know I've seen some. But in there, inside of there is a script, and that script is about inviting the guest to come and meet a power partner that's already in the chapter, like the what's in it for them. So-and-so has asked to meet someone who does what you do. Would you be available to come on screen and meet? And so that script is available. Like maybe you get the concept, you go like, well, I wouldn't know what to say. I think being natural is, and I have always found, I'd love to invite you to come and meet my network. Like it's not rocket science, right?
It's pretty simple, but I think Terilee is spot on that if there are people that are listening or watching and they are a little bit nervous about the approach, what do I say? A script is fantastic. Like I have, in my space, as you can appreciate with cold calling, I'm often asked, do you use a script? Aren't scripts really bad? Don't they make you sound like a robot? And I always say, no, scripts are fantastic because you've got a guide. That's essentially how people should see it. It's almost like a guide of what to say and when to say it. But most of all, as we started off with, it's really just a confidence piece because you'll never kind of feel like, I'm going to be lost for words at some point. You'll always have backup. So yes, if you're, if someone can access that script, I would be highly recommending it.
Excellent. Yeah. So in there would be everything from, because some people will come. All you have to do to say to some people is, hey, I'd like to invite you to visit my network. We meet on Wednesdays. Okay. Right. And then some people will want the details. So there's actually like a letter in there. It's a detailed email invite that you can copy and make your own that has all the details. Right. So there's something there, hopefully to accommodate everyone. Let's chat about how about some of our objections that we have in our own head. We haven't even put it out there to receive an objection. We have our own objections, Ashleigh. So one of them that people may be having right now is, I know some people, but I may have someone in my chapter that does that. Let's talk about, let's start, let's put that, put our cards on the table and just talk, because I think that is a very valid thing, and we can chat about several ways to handle this. So what are your initial thoughts?
Yeah, I love that. And yes, you're right. It's almost an objection in a sense, because it's like that objection of, well, someone's already got a provider. Someone already does what I do. But I guess there's a couple of things to that. And I think about myself, for example. So I run a cold calling agency. I also do coaching and training. But there's always going to be other providers in the market that might complement what I do. And it may be that they're not exactly like a what's the word, that they're completely competition. It may be that we could partner with each other on projects, or if I have an overflow of work, I could pass work their way. So I think again, it's all about shifting that mindset to be less about scarcity of, oh, we don't have a position for this person. It should be more about, wow, are there people in the chapter that they could complement or work in synergy with? And then I know you'll also be thinking too, Terilee, that if they do have that overlap, there might be the opportunity to pass them to another chapter or to refer them on to someone else who's a better fit. So I think that everyone just has to see the opportunity in everything.
The opportunity in everything. I love that. And, as a matter of fact, speaking of, right before we got on the call, I just introduced you to two of our other sales experts in virtual team who I don't know. I would love to hear if there are synergies that develop once you meet them. But like, I'm looking at the potential, not the potential, I'm looking at bringing the three of you together on a sales panel for all of our, and that would be, by the way, let's just call it out, like it's Ian Parker from our V Team Professionals chapter out of Australia, and Brian K. McNeil, the sales confidence coach out of the Carolinas in the States. And so I'm looking at bringing you together so that you can all present together. I think sometimes, yes, let's everyone for this 5 weeks, let's throw down the invites, see who's available to come. Now, here's one thing. If you invite someone and you say, hey, my meeting's Fridays at 9, would love to have you come, and they say Fridays at 9 are bad for me, let me throw this in. That hasn't come up yet. And that would be, feel free to message me and say, my insurance friend can't do Friday mornings. What do you suggest? And I'd be happy to give some options. Okay. So that would be one objection that might come up in a way to handle it. What other objections might come up, Ashleigh? Let's think.
Do you know the other objection that I was thinking of? Because look, I've been an avid networker for years, and there's a lot of networking groups out there, let's face it. And you know me, I'm a raving fan of V Team. It's why I'm obviously a member. But there might be some other networking groups that perhaps other people have gone to and they weren't that impressed. So the objection I'm thinking of is, let's say I meet someone and I say, look, I've got this fabulous group of like people that I would love to connect you with. There's a lot of synergy in what you offer with what they do as well. And they say, well, Ash, I've done a bit of networking and the groups I went to, I just didn't enjoy it. So I think one way of overcoming this objection is to look at how V Team is different from other networking groups out there. And, this is all about like unique selling points, what sets you apart from the rest. And I think, some of the things we can bring up is the fact that it's global, they're opening up, expanding their networks to a global platform. Also that it's all online, and this suits everyone in this day and age, let's face it. So that would be the other objection. And I think way of handling it is, if someone didn't enjoy a networking group in the past, that's not to say that they won't enjoy V Team, because I think there are some really positive takeaways to this network.
Such a good point. And when I think about it, I also think, gosh, one visit won't hurt you, would it? But I'm just teasing. But it's true. So sometimes we might not even invite because somebody has told us I had a bad experience. But you know what? We can invite them in. And here's the thing. Right now, we're inviting them for one visit, 1 hour. And I have to say, most of the time I get on networking meetings, I visit Ashleigh and I enjoy them. Every once in a while, I'll get on and I'll be like, these are not my people. And you know what? If anyone came and we weren't their people, that's okay. I believe in plenty, and I believe we're looking for the people that are looking for us. But that is such a good one. Now, can we think of any other objections? Now you got us thinking. Now, I will say this in the comments. In the comments here, if anyone has any other objections or anything that you've been thinking about, type them in the comments if you're watching the replay, because we would love to answer them. But okay, well, you had another one. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, I'm trying to scratch my head and think of some that might come up. And I guess I always bring it back to sales and what we experience when we're on the phone and trying to pitch different things. We've covered a few, like, having another provider, which is essentially there's an overlap with someone or, competition. The only other one could sometimes be price. And that could be, am I just going to come along to this group to be sold to, or do I have to sign up to come along? And I think, again, that would be about, highlighting the fact that this is really just an invitation to, a session where they can come along and meet like-minded people. They could even benefit from it by connecting with people that need their services or their products. And certainly that it is like a complimentary session that they're attending. That's probably the only other objection. And would you add anything to that, Terilee?
I love that. I think that in order to in full disclosure, to say it's your compliment, you get this is your opportunity. Yes, come. It's a complimentary session. At the end, you'll be offered some information should you be interested. But it's never. We're not squeezing them, right? And if they, right?
100%.
Okay, so I don't know who this amazing person is, but I'm getting this comment. If you can, please say your name. Commenting here in the group. So an objection that they hear regularly is there's too much focus on referrals. Okay, what do you say to that as a professional sales objection handler? Because I'm thinking that referrals are good. But go ahead, Ashleigh.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say, if that's an issue for them, why? That it's funny because, and I mean, look, they might be coming from a place that there's too much focus on getting referrals that aren't high quality, because sometimes that's a thing in networking. If there's a real push for getting referrals and, the quality isn't there, then that's not going to go down well with other members. But I think, again, that's where you would highlight how V-Team differentiates from a lot of other networking groups out there. And that was one of the things that really impressed me when I first visited a V-Team session, was that, yes, the focus is on referrals, but it's a lot more about givers gain and not being held to numbers. It's much more about, I genuinely have a connection that has a quality referral for you, and who doesn't want new business? So I'd be saying two things to that. Why are they questioning referrals? And if it's about quality, bring up the fact that it is a different networking.
So I have some clarification. Thank you so much. And it's more about having to give a referral each week.
Yes. And so that's I think they are in line with what I was thinking, which is if you are expected to deliver something consistently, and I mean, sure, we all sign up as members because we do have that givers gain mentality where we want to bring something to the table every week, whether that is a referral or a visitor or something of that nature. But I think, again, that was one thing I loved about V-Team, was it wasn't so harsh on the numbers. You have to get numbers there, which meant that the quality could be produced rather than just being a focus on quantity. So that's what I would say to this person who's asking this question is, if someone says, oh, it's too focused on referrals and they're not that high quality because they need them every week, I would be saying, well, look, V-Team is a very different experience.
Oh, I will say, and thank you for sharing that. Whoever shared that, that's good. We need to know that. We don't have quotas. We don't have minimums. I do think at the heart of all networkers that want to be part of a networking group that we should do our best to dig deep, and we should try to have at least one referral a week. And if you're part of a group of 10, 12, 15 people and you consistently aren't bringing anything every week, then maybe it isn't. Maybe it might not be for you, right? So I will say that, and that's okay, right? So thank you for sharing that objection, and I hope that we helped. Well, Ashleigh, at the risk of us really scratching our head and keeping going, I'm going to suggest that we leave this. We'll leave these comments open, and we can maybe come back if we have other things to address and type and answer the other objections. But I'm just so grateful for your time to talk about this with me, with our members. Ashleigh and I wish we were here with coffee or tea with y'all, and we were just hanging back and talking about it. But this is the best we can do, Care. So Ashleigh, thanks for your expertise. Y'all will see Ashleigh again at this week's Global Gathering if you will be there. She's co-hosting with me. Our global gathering this week is about Facebook pro tips. We'll be hearing from Sam McFarlane, Adil Alim, and Jennifer Tamborski on some fabulous Facebook pro tips. And of course, we'll have a session of global online networking. So find Ashleigh on LinkedIn, connect with her. I know she would love to. Tell her you're in V-Team. She'd love to meet you. And everyone, best of luck on the contest. We want everyone to succeed. We want to be able to grow that connector muscle. People love connectors, and if you're not a high level, easily connecting can become part of your daily networking life, right? Connecting this person, connecting that person, and we want to invite everyone to raise up that muscle, whether it's about V-Team or not, right? We can be seen as more valuable to our networking partners and networking colleagues. So Ashleigh, thank you. Thank you to everyone else. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And as always in V-Team, let's cheer each other on and help each other grow. Thanks, guys. Bye. Thanks.